What up, YouTube? T-Movies here with the new film Artemis Fowl on Disney Plus now. I have not seen the movie yet, but I'll probably check it out sometime this week. It does not look good in my opinion. The reviews are not helpful. But anyway, the film is directed by Kenneth Branagh, who is awesome. I always like Kenneth Branagh's work. I mean, he has appeared in movies like he's he appeared in Christopher Nolan's film Dunkirk. He's also in Nolan's other film Tenet. He's been in a few other pretty notable stuff, but he is more notable as a filmmaker. I mean, he's directed Shakespeare movies, he's directed movies from Disney. I mean, the guy's done some pretty solid work. So, with that being said, here are my top 10 favorite Kenneth Branagh movies. Alright. Coming in at number 10, I'm going to go with the film All Is True. Now, years after, Kenneth Branagh, has been directing, Shakespeare adaptations. Last year, he ended up actually playing William Shakespeare, which there's been a few other actors who have portrayed the role of Shakespeare on screen. Kenneth Branagh's portrayal of Shakespeare was terrific. You know, you also had Judi Dench as his on-screen wife, Anne Hathaway. That's right, there's also an actress named Anne Hathaway and all that, but Judi Dench was terrific in this. I know she really played Anne Hathaway really well. Like, her chemistry with Kenneth Branagh was terrific. Obviously, of course, Judi Dench is also in Artemis Fowl, so they got a nice relationship there. You also had Sir Ian McKellen was terrific. If you guys never really seen All Is True, I mean, it's a kind of an underrated film. I mean, it has some great performances by Kenneth Branagh, by Judi Dench. I mean, of course, here you had Shakespeare, who ends up returning to Stratford, where he must face like a troubled past, and and is neglected by his family and all that. But he's also haunted by the death of his only son, Hamnet, and so he struggles to mend the broken relationship with his wife and daughters. And it's a pretty decent one. I mean, great. It has some really good cinematography. It is a slow film. Like, there's probably some people that might get bored of the film, to be honest with you. But it's still pretty good. Like, if you guys never really seen All Is True yet, I think give it a shot. Alright. Coming in at number 9, I'm going to go with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Now, this isn't really a great film, to be honest with you, but it's actually pretty decent. I mean, you've got Robert De Niro as the creature. I mean, and you've got Kenneth Branagh as Victor Frankenstein. You also had Helena Bonham Carter was in this one. It's not really one of the best Frankenstein adaptations there is. Obviously, the best one is probably the Boris Karloff one. But Kenneth Branagh's Frankenstein did not really get much love when it got released. I mean, it has like a 30-something, I think like a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a really underrated one. Like, it's not a really great film, but it's actually pretty decent. I mean, it has some cool fantasy aspects. The horror was pretty decent. Like, whoever knew that Robert De Niro will be a good choice to play the role of the creature in Frankenstein. And, yeah, Kenneth Branagh and Robert De Niro were both excellent as well. Like, if you guys never really seen this Frankenstein one, I'd say go give it a shot. Alright. Number 8, I'm going to go with Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit. Now, this is the latest film based on the Tom Clancy novel starring Chris Pine as the Tyrell. You had Keira Knightley. Kenneth Branagh ended up playing the villain in this. He plays the villain pretty well. I'm still wondering if he's a villain in Tenet, but that has to be what I see. Now, there's been a few other actors who have portrayed the role of Jack Ryan, like, of course, John Krasinski's, been, plays the role on the Amazon show. You had Alec Baldwin has portrayed the role, Harrison Ford, Ben Affleck. Chris Pine really was a really cool Jack Ryan. He played the role really well. He had some cool action moments here. It's actually probably one of the most underrated out of the Jack Ryan films. It's not really a great flick either, but it's actually pretty fun. It's really entertaining. I mean, if you guys have not really seen the Jack Ryan movie with Chris Pine, I'll say give it a shot. All right. Coming in at number 7, I'm gonna go with a film called Dead Again. Now, that's where this mute woman suffering from amnesia, played by Emma Thompson, arrives at the gate of this orphanage. And so you got Kenneth Branagh, who plays the private investigator, Mike Church, is actually finding out who she is, and so of course you got Derek Jacobi, who plays the hitman in this, uh, who ends up trying to help her, and so the woman ends up regaining her voice and records vivid past memories of a couple from the 1940s, and it was of course it's a really interesting period piece murder film. It has a really cool cast, like besides Jacoby, Branagh, and Thompson. You also had the likes of Andy Garcia, Robert Williams was in this. Dead Again is a really decent mystery-based film. Emma Thompson had worked with Ken Reinhardt a couple of times, and she was terrific here. It was a very different Kenneth Branagh film because, around the time he's has also been doing Shakespeare films, and so seeing him do like a murder mystery film like this set off for what will come next in his career, obviously. But Dead Again is pretty good. If you guys have not really seen it, go give that one a watch. I mean, I guess you could say it has a bit of a memento feel to it, you know. Alright. Coming in at number. Alright. Coming in at number 6, I'm gonna go with his Hamlet adaptation. Now, there's been loads of adaptations of Hamlet, uh, but this is probably my favorite adaptation of Hamlet. Of course, you've got Kenneth Branagh, who portrays the role of Prince Hamlet, and it takes place in 19th century. And here you got Hamlet, who is traumatized by the revelation that his father was murdered by the present king, Claudius, of course, played by Derek Jacobi, who has been in, who like I said was just in, was also in Dead Again. And so with the aid of you know of Hamlet's mother, Gertrude, played by Julie Christie, Hamlet ends up considering a plot for revenge and mistakenly kills Platonius, played by Richard Beers, and you got Kate Winslet, who portrays the role of Oblia, who was also great. You got a few other folks in this. You also had appearances by Charlton Heston, Jack Lemmon, Gerard Depardieu, Billy Crystal was in this, which is very odd. Robin Williams even had a role in this. Yeah, this Hamlet movie was pretty decent. Very had some pretty cool violence sequence. Nice romance to it. If you guys have not seen his Hamlet movie, I'd say give it a shot. It's a pretty decent play. All right, number 5. I'm gonna go with his first directorial film, and that is Henry V. Now, this is another adaptation of a Shakespeare tale, and here you got the aforementioned Derek Jacobi, who portrays the role of Carius, and you got Kenneth Branagh, who portrays the young King of England, Henry V, who begins a angry dialogue with King Charles of France, played by Paul Schofield. And so, the king's son, Duffin, played by Michael Maloney, ends up assaulting Henry, and arguments escalates into war. You got a few other cool cast members, like you got Hagrid himself, Robert Coltrane as Nam Falstaff. You got Jeffrey Hutchings was also in this. You had the aforementioned Judi Dench. Sir Ian McKellen was in this one. So that film was ended up featuring a Henry V reunion. So I found that to be pretty cool. Of course, I'm trying to remember. I think Ken Branagh actually scored an Oscar nomination for this. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that. And this was a pretty decent directorial effort. And of course, since then, Kenneth Branagh has directed some other really solid stuff, and I got loads of Branagh movies in this list. But yeah, if you guys haven't really seen Henry V yet, I'd say give it a shot. Oh, not to mention Emma Thompson is also in this too. So, number 4, I'm gonna go with 2015's live action remake of Cinderella. Kenneth Branagh had a really interesting career with Disney. Obviously, he has Artemis Fowl, which is on Disney Plus. But I thought he did a great job with the 2015 Cinderella film. Then you had Lily James, of course, adds to the entire role. Game of Thrones dude, Richard Madden was great in this. You had Kate Blanchett as the main villain. Of course, the queen here. You also had the aforementioned Helen Bonham Carter as the fairy godmother. Haley Atwell was in this. I mean, there's so much to love about the Cinderella adaptation. It's really charming. Had some really I love the production design that was featured in this. What Branagh did with the Cinderella adaptation was solid. I mean, of course, since then we've been having some other pretty cool Disney remakes, like of course Lion King was pretty decent, Aladdin and all that. But Cinderella takes the cake. It's a really solid one. If you guys have not seen his Cinderella film yet, I'll say give it a shot. Alright. Coming in at number 3, I'm going to go with another Shakespeare film, and that's Much Ado About Nothing. Now, here, now this film actually takes about 4 years after his follow-up, after his directorial debut, Henry V, hit theirs. And here, it's actually based on Shakespeare's comedies, and you had Denzel Washington up in this, who plays Don Pedro, the Prince of Aragon, who returns to victorious from battle to the praises of the governor, Messina. And so you got, of course, Leonardo, played by Richard Beers, plays the governor of Messina. You got Robert Sean Leonard as Claudio, who ends up falling in love with her, played by Kate Beckinsale. You also had Keanu Reeves was in this. Emma Thompson. Kenneth Branagh portrays the role of Benedict. He did a good job. You even had sorry about that. You even had Michael Keaton was featured in this. I mean, it had a really cool ensemble. And there's been a few other pretty good adaptations of Much Ado About Nothing. I mean, Joss Whedon actually directed a Much Ado About Nothing film. This is a pretty solid adaptation. Denzel was terrific. I mean, whoever knew that Denzel could do a Shakespeare film? Come on. Who could ever picture that one? And, I mean, whoever pictured Denzel Washington, Keanu Reeves, and Michael Keaton or in the movie together? That was what a really ensemble cast this thing had. And yeah, if you guys have not seen Much Ado About Nothing, give this one a shot. Alright, number 2, I'm going to go with Murder on the Orient Express. Of course, this is based on the Agatha Christie tale. It is based on, you've got Kenneth Branagh, who plays the world's greatest detective, Hercule Poirot, who, of course, it takes place on a train where, someone ends up getting murdered, so it ends up being like a whodunit type film, and I'm a sucker for these. Whether it's the recent, hold on, I'll just talk about it. Wherever it's the recent Knives Out film, Clue is a pretty good one. I always get a kick out of these murder mystery whodunit type films, and Murder on the Orient Express is no exception. Kenneth Branagh as Hercule Poirot. I can never do his accent well, but Kenneth Branagh was terrific. I mean, there's been other actors who have portrayed the Hercule Poirot role. I believe Albert Finney played the role one time, or what's another actor? I can't remember. But anyway, he also set a really cool ensemble for this. I mean, here's some of the cast members. You have Penelope Cruz, William Dafoe, Judi Dench, Johnny Depp, Michelle Pfeiffer, Daisy Ridley, Josh Gad. You had some really solid cast members in this, and not to mention, Kenneth Branagh is returning back as a Hercule Poirot for Death on the Nile, which is the follow, which comes out sometime this year, which I cannot wait for that one. But if you guys haven't really seen his Murder on the Orient Express film, I'll say give it a shot. It's a really terrific one. Alright, now what is Kenneth Branagh's best work? obviously the best film on his directing catalog has got to be 2011's Thor. This was the guy who brought Chris Hemsworth's Thor to the screen, and there's been other directors who have directed Thor films, like of course Alan Taylor directed the second one. Um, Taika Waititi directed Thor Ragnarok, and of course Waititi is returning for the next Thor film. But my God, what Kenneth Branagh was able to do with the first Thor was terrific. Chris Hemsworth, he was born to play this role. I mean, he really brought. I mean, Kenneth Branagh was the one who actually brought Thor and Loki, of course, played by Tom Hiddleston, to the silver screen, and he did such a great job. And you have some other cool cast members, like, of course, Natalie Portman, Kat Dennings, Anthony Hopkins. I mean, who would ever expect that a guy who directed Shakespeare films would be a perfect choice to direct a Marvel film like Thor? But if you ever look at it, Thor always did feel a little Shakespearean, so I guess I could see why they decided to choose him to direct the first Thor. But man, Thor was such a triumph by Kenneth Branagh, and it's a shame that there was actually Kenneth Branagh was just in an interview talk about Artemis Fowl, and he said he's actually interested in directing more other comic movies in the future, whether that will be a film in the MCU, DC or anything. I'd love to see him come back to the comic book universe, because what he was able to do with the first Thor was magnificent. I just really adore it, and yeah, it's a really great one. Anywho, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10, Or Is True. 9, Frankenstein. 8, Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. 7, Dead Again. 6, Hamlet. 5, Henry V. 4, Cinderella. 3, Much Ado About Nothing. 2, Murder on the Orient Express. And number 1, Dora. Now, his other credits also includes Love's Labor Loss. Like I said, Death on Nine, which is still set to come out this year. That's if it doesn't get delayed due to the Rona. That I'm looking forward to check out. Looking forward to see how good he is in Christopher Nolan's Tenet. What else? As You Like It, he was in. He directed with Bryce Dallas Howard, Pierre's Friend, The Magic Flute, Sloop. Too bad they never really got him to direct a Macbeth film. I always thought he'll be a good choice to direct a Macbeth or maybe a Romeo and Juliet flick. But let me leave to you guys. What are some of your favorite Kenneth Branagh directed movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This is Sim Movie signing off.